Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to In Conversation with the Royal Butler. Now, before I begin, I know I always say this, but I just want to say a huge thank you once again for the suggestions, the comments. This community in YouTube has become fantastic. I love watching the conversations, joining in, and I do try to respond or like as many as possible. There's quite a lot now, but as you will see, I do try to interact as much as possible, but please keep doing this, keep the audience, keep the conversations going, because it's great, and it's fun for me to know that there's this community that almost kind of chats amongst themselves, and every now and again I can hopefully join in with you. But thank you, and as always, please keep subscribing and sharing these videos to keep growing this little channel. So for today's episode, we are going to be talking about Scotland and the Queen and Prince Charles, their country homes, or I should say the homes they go to before they actually go to the official residences on the Balmoral estate. Now, what I mean by this is that when the Queen and Prince Charles go up to Scotland in July, they don't actually go straight to the main residences. Now, the Queen normally stays at, well, she stays at Balmoral Castle, which some of you have watched the previous In Conversation, which would explain what Balmoral Castle is, but it's one of the Queen's official private residences. And Prince Charles stays at Beck Hall, which is on the Balmoral estate. And it was also once the home of the late Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother. Now, when the Queen arrives in Scotland, she tends to go up to the Balmoral estate round about the 22nd, 21st of July. But what some of you might not know is she doesn't actually go straight to the castle because it's still open to the public. In fact, I believe that the castle, Balmoral Castle, was open to the public until about the 2nd of August this year. So what she does is she goes and stays at a little cottage within the grounds of Balmoral Castle, about a mile from the castle. And at one time, it was where Prince Philip would also go with the Queen, and a beautiful little place called Craiggowan. And as I said, I say a little cottage. It's a substantial cottage, but it's pretty. It's really sweet, and it's where they could go and just spend some time on their own before officially moving into Balmoral Castle. And then, of course, things then obviously kind of change slightly, because then they have guests come and stay, they have family come and stay, they have diplomats come and stay, even the Prime Minister, our Prime Minister of the UK will go up there. But she also sees overseas heads of state there as well. So it's very much, it still is a working office, as it is for the Queen with all her homes. But before that, as I said, she gets to spend some time at this little cottage. Now, from what I remember, the cottage was built in the Victorian era, roughly when a lot of the cottages were built on the estate. And it's always been a favourite place of the Queen and the late Prince Philip. It was always somewhere they enjoyed to go and stay. And purely because in latter years, with Balmoral Castle being open to the public, when I say open to the public, just the ballroom, but of course the grounds and the gardens. And so the Queen obviously can't move in at that point, otherwise she can't really, it's a bit difficult for her, for example, to walk the corgis. So therefore, that's why to stay at Craiggowan, which is about a mile away, is the perfect opportunity for them to arrive in Scotland, to begin the annual holiday up there. But the wonderful part is they can do it in private, or they used to be able to go up there in private. I say used to because obviously Prince Philip's no longer with us. And it was just such a, I think for the Queen, it was just beginning that holiday, because she loves Scotland. As I've said to you before, it's a Highland paradise, and it was that opportunity to get away from the rest of the world for a few months. Mind you, I say to get away from the rest of the world. The reality is, of course, a lot of the world would go to her, would go up to Balmoral Castle. And as I mentioned, when you have overseas his estate diplomats, that would visit the Queen, it's possible they will visit her while she's staying at Balmoral Castle, which is not unusual because, as I said, it is a working office. So Craiggowan is just, as I said, a beautiful little cottage on the estate, very humble, if I can say that. When you think about castles and palaces, it is just a lodge, which, I mean, the royals are used to obviously staying in smaller homes and houses, but this is very much just what I would class as a normal house, if I can say that, on the Balmoral estate. And people have asked me, did the Queen and Prince Philip, in general, did they ever get time to just be themselves, to be a husband and wife? And of course, as a monarch, as the Queen, it can be quite difficult to get those moments where it's just them doing their own thing. But that's what Scotland very much offers them. And when they used to go and stay at Craiggowan, it was a chance for them just to be Mr. and Mrs. I was told on many occasions that they would go there and it was very much they would do a lot of the things themselves. Now, I'm not saying they wouldn't have members of staff that maybe take deliveries or take things to them and set things up. But as far as it comes when they're actually staying there, they very much did things themselves. I mean, I even remember once being told that the Queen, it was quite often the Queen would cook dinner herself and then she would wash up and Prince Philip would help her wash up and he would lay the table. So it was very much as close to normality as a Queen and a consort as you could actually get. So what do I think would happen now is obviously the question now Prince Philip's no longer there. What I believe, and I haven't kind of been following the latest news on this, I mean, the Queen is actually there just now as this goes out. And from what I understand is that very much it would be a lady in waiting possibly or a family friend that I would have thought would be with her, because I can see her wanting to have obviously some company while she's there. And then round about the first week of August, you'll find that the Queen will then officially move into Balmoral Castle. So it gives it a few days from shutting down, a chance for them to kind of obviously make sure the ballroom, all the exhibitions are taken away, all the ropes are taken down, all the signage is taken away, everything obviously that is put in place when it's open to the public, all of that will be removed so that it very much becomes a private home again. And then what will happen is the Queen, the day the Queen, well, round about the day the Queen moves in officially, you will see that she will inspect the troops that are going to be guarding her while she's there. So what you will see is the Queen will drive down the drive of Balmoral Castle, walk out the gates and expect the troops that will be lined up just on the other side of the gates where the public and the media can watch this. And she inspects the troops, and then after that she'll then return back to the castle, and then that's the beginning of the official part of her stay in Scotland. Now, while the Queen is in Scotland, work very much continues. So she still receives policy briefings, cabinet documents, government ministers, representatives from foreign countries and Commonwealth countries. So it all very much continues. It's very much a working office. So even though the Queen is on holiday and it is her annual break, it's very much still a working holiday. So she is still carrying on doing her official work while she is away. And of course, the Queen will also then entertain at the castle, so she will have members of the British royal family obviously go and stay, and that's everybody from Princess Anne, the Wessexes, the Cambridges. So members of the family will go and spend time with the Queen and obviously other members of the family. And then you also find that they will have European royals sometimes come and stay. As I mentioned, you will even have the Prime Minister and his wife go and stay. So you do have the Queen very much is entertaining while she's there. So it's very much a chance for her to have family, friends, guests come and stay, and which is something that the Queen enjoys doing. She enjoys hosting. And as I've mentioned before, twice a year, you've got the Gillies Ball, which is what I was lucky enough to attend. And in the previous conversation where I talk about Balmoral Castle, you actually will get to hear how that actually happened, how I managed to get to dance with the Queen. Now, while this is all going on, I also mentioned Prince Charles has got his hideaway, as I called it, his other home that he will go to, and this is Castle of May, which I have been to and I have stayed there with the Prince. Now, I think Castle of May would be a fantastic subject for another day, and my experiences with the Prince at Castle of May, because it was truly an amazing place to spend time, to visit, and to actually work in. I mean, an amazing place to work in. And as I've said before, it was one of the homes of the Queen Mother, and it's now a home that the Prince of Wales goes and stays and visits at once a year. So when the Queen goes and stays at Craiggown, Prince Charles goes to the Castle of May towards the end of July, and he spends a week there carrying out official engagements while he's there. So it's very much a working holiday, even though it is obviously a kind of holiday, if I can say that, because he's obviously staying at Castle of May, but it's very much a working holiday because he does carry out official business while he is there. And at the end of that week, the Prince will then make the drive from Castle of May to Birkhall on the Balmoral estate. And it's quite a drive. I want to say from memory, it's a good couple of hours, but stunning scenery. It's a beautiful drive. And I remember, obviously being lucky enough when I used to go to Castle of May to actually drive down over to the Balmoral estate, and I used to stop off and see my parents on the way, because we actually literally drove past their house, which was amazing. And then Prince Charles will then move it in to Birkhall House, where he'll then stay until October. Sometimes he returns to London somewhere in between that and September for a week to carry out engagements, but tends to stay at Birkhall until October. The one other thing about Prince Charles going to Castle of May, it was to keep the association with the royal family, really, because it was the Queen Mother's home. It was one of her private homes, and when the Queen Mother died, obviously there was that risk that a royal wouldn't stay there again. And Prince Charles, being a huge lover of his grandmother, somebody that he admired and respected, and obviously realised how important Castle of May was to her, so wanted to keep that relationship with the castle. And this is why it's so wonderful that he has continued to go up there. I have actually been back to Castle of May since I've left, and the work that's been done there, the work that's been carried out there since I was there is staggering. It's unbelievable. I mean, it's fantastic, and it's definitely going to secure it for future generations. And I hope, as time goes on, that other members of the royal family, possibly the Cambridges, will actually also maybe use it in the future, because it is a beautiful location, beautiful part of the world. And as I said, for me, for the time that I was there, some great memories. I can imagine for Prince Charles, many great memories. But it's quite nice, as I said, that he goes and spends some time there before he actually goes to the Birkhall estate. The other thing I remember, when we used to drive up there, it was quite a drive, because I could fly. We used to sometimes fly, or sometimes we would have to drive if we had to take certain things up, and it would take about 11 or 12 hours. But my parents weren't that far from it, so I was used to that kind of drive. But it was a wonderful drive, and you really felt you were getting away from everything, which was fantastic. And then when we used to leave to come back to Birkhall, it was great stopping off, seeing my parents. And sometimes on occasions, my parents would even catch a glimpse of the Prince, because I would meet them in town, and then we would maybe have a little wander or coffee, and then the convoy of the Prince would then come past and they would see it. So it was always really good fun for my parents, who were very much royalists, loved the royal family. So for them it was a huge excitement to catch a glimpse of the Prince. Now, when the prince is at the Beck Hall estate, of course, he does see his mother, because the castle, Balmoral Castle, is only, I say only, but it's a few miles away, but it's obviously a great opportunity for the family to be together. What's going to be interesting about this occasion is obviously it's the first time that the Queen will have stayed there for the annual holiday, and Prince Philip isn't going to be with her, and that's really sad, because it was somewhere that they would always be. They'd be there together. They would, they were very much. It was their home. It was somewhere that they enjoyed together. It was, the Prince Philip would do barbecues, host parties. So it was somewhere that they both very much enjoyed being together and working from, as I said, because they carried out official business there. And I think for the Queen, it's going to bring back a lot of memories. It's going to be I think it's going to be very tricky, because obviously it is, it's somewhere that they spent a lot of time together. I don't know who's going to do the barbecues. I mean, I'm guessing it's possibly Prince Edward might step up to that and actually do the barbecues. I'm sure somebody will, maybe even Princess Anne, who used to do the barbecues with her father. So it's going to be, I think it's going to be emotional for all of them when they all get together there for the first time as a family. And there's going to be a lot of memories and reminiscing and remembering the good times, because there was a lot of good times for the family when they were there, and I think that's what they'll reflect on, and it will. I'm sure that it's going to be a very tricky time for the Queen, I think, because it's the first visit there. But the Queen, being such an amazing person she just gets on with it, and I think very much she will. As I said, I'm sure she'll have her own moments and her time to reflect, but at the same time, she loves her family. She loves spending time with her family. She loves Balmoral. She loves the work that she does, and she's kept that promise to us for all these years, that she would give her life to the service of her people, and that's very much what she does and continues to do. And I think very much that is something that other members of the royal family also respect, admire and support her with as well. So you'll probably find that when royals go up there, you'll probably see that there'll be different ways they're going to support her while she's up there. And I think this year we'll probably see them taking more time to go up and visit with the Queen and spend time with her, obviously because it's the first time she's there on her own. I hope you've enjoyed this conversation. It is a shorter one today, but I hope you've still enjoyed it, and it's given you a little insight into what goes on when the royals arrive in Scotland at the beginning of their annual holiday. And some of you might not have known that they go to these other homes before they arrive at the official residences for their official stays. And I say official because every year, traditionally, that is when the royals go for the holidays to Scotland, the end of July until September, October. That's what they've always done and continue to do. And the only thing is, as I said, I say holiday, but obviously it's very much a working holiday for all of them as well. But as I said, I hope it's given you a little insight into what goes on. And if you get the opportunity in the years to come, Balmoral Castle and Castlemaine are amazing places to visit. Beck Hall, I should mention, is private. You can't actually visit Beck Hall, and Craiggown is also private, but the Castlemaine and Balmoral Castle you can visit, and you can even go on in fact I might even put a little link in the description below with links to the website, so you can always have a little look, because you can also get some amazing produce from both of those properties as well. But as I said, thank you for watching today's episode. I've got no Shumba. He's actually somewhere else. I think he's in one of the other rooms. He's chilling. So it's just me today. I'm sure he'll be back to join me next week. But I will see you next Wednesday. Well, next Wednesday is going to be slightly different because there will be a YouTube video as normal, but there is also going to be a YouTube live at 9 p.m. I will put the link below this video as well, where you can purchase tickets. It's for it's afternoon tea week next week, and I'll be hosting a YouTube live Royal Afternoon Tea class. We've almost kind of fully booked for this class. I'm considering adding other dates, but I will give you some details about those in due course. But thank you for everyone that has already booked on it. It's going to be really good fun. And as I said, there'll be another little video that will go up so that for those of you that are unable to join, you'll still get something to celebrate Afternoon Tea Week. And then I will see you next Friday for the next In Conversation. But until then, stay safe. Thank you for watching. Keep subscribing, keep sharing, and have a fabulous weekend. Take care.